Don't be fooled by the rocks that she got. She's still Jenny with AI. She used to like him a little, now she likes him a lot. But in the end, she gon' always ride in one. I know y'all, that was whatever. But Jenny from the block is Jenny with AI now. What is going on, y'all? What is going on? Welcome back, y'all, to DeAndre Way. Today, we are going through and reviewing the movie Atlas starring Jennifer JLO Lopez from the Bronx on the block in the space suit, in the AI machine, in the Goliath. She riding around. She still doing her acting thing, and she it was this movie was interesting. Look, a lot of people tearing any movie with J Lo up as the main actress. Almost any movie except Selena's is doing that. I'm not gonna tear this up. Look, these movies you got to take them as they are. You got to take them. You can't take them too serious. Especially it's a sci-fi. I'm a sci-fi kind of guy, especially when they're including a machine that's kind of like if you've ever played StarCraft, the Goliath. This reminded me exactly of a Goliath, a person inside of one of these walking machines. Now this machine could like sword fight and whatnot and do some Karate Kid tactics, but I wasn't angry at it. There was some head scratching things. Now they people crucifying Jalen more than the movie. The movie script, honestly, it wasn't too bad. I didn't hate it. The whole premise behind things, it's like the AI guy killing her mom, and then she's gets away somehow, and then the mom ends up shooting herself, and I don't know how a little girl would get away from that, but there wasn't it malfunctioned, and because of baby J Lo or whatever, and it seems like that's an easy way to malfunction a huge robot and have it the tools to kind of control the whole world, but it's sci-fi. You can't, like I said, you can't take these things too seriously. And I feel like a lot of people watching these things are just taking them too literal. It's not real. It's called sci-fi for a reason. So when it comes to like what happens and whatnot, you just got to accept it for what it is. Now, what I will get on is just the process of things, and then also the acting and whatnot. But we're gonna get into it, y'all. Thank you for joining me. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the DeAndre Way. I appreciate y'all so much. You helping the channel grow, and it's making my heart grow. So I appreciate y'all so much. But we gonna get into it. First, we gonna go to the Netflix Toon Doom website to see exactly what's going down, y'all. So let's get to it, man. Let's get to it. So in Atlas, Jennifer Lopez suits up for space. This new action movie sees Lopez stranded off on a far planet in order to protect life on Earth. She didn't even want to be involved with the AIs too. She's so anti it because it killed her mother, but she's been using it her whole life. The only part of that for me is like you still use it and you like hate it because of that, and it's kind of like trauma. Everybody has trauma growing up. You almost drowned, so your fear of water, or you were on a plane and it was pretty rough landing as a child, so you don't want to get on planes anymore. I get it. We all have those traumas, so that's kind of relate to the real life and in that aspect, and towards in her feelings towards AI. But we'll get into it. In last year's The Mother, Jennifer Lopez fought her demons deep in the Alaskan wilderness. Now she's launching up into orbit to face her foe. In her new film Atlas, the multi-hyphenate performer plays the tentacular character, a government analyst who's hurled to a distant world on a quest to defeat her oldest enemy, the robot warrior who upended her life. Atlas is someone who is basically shut out the world around her, Lopez told Netflix. She doesn't trust anybody and doesn't want anything to do with AI. Unfortunately, on her mission in the far reaches of space, Atlas won't have much of a choice. Stranded in a high-powered armor suit, she's forced to confront her fear of technology by allying herself with it. Set in a high-tech world, Atlas is a galaxy-spanning adventure written by Leo Sardarian and Aaron Eli Colette and directed by Brad Payton, who previously helmed San Andreas, which is a great movie. I did like San Andreas, and it was a quality movie. I like that. And Rampage, I did not see Rampage. Yeah. So out of all that, I mean, it tells us the bio and whatnot. And Alice is someone who's basically shut out the world around her. Look, she has, and she's pretty much plays this cold-hearted woman. I've seen JLo play the similar character before in some other films. But the character itself, it suited JLo well, I think. She could cut crux or find the crux of the emotion from her previous relationships and use that to propel her. Now I don't know JLo, but I think the acting was okay. I mean, she did a good job, I think, in this sci-fi film. The only it was very the thing is everything was very a little simple. There wasn't too complex of things going on. Like, yeah, she goes into space to fight to find this dude that essentially killed her mother or did kill her mother, and they're fighting this guy and the AI robots that are being taken that took over themselves in their own hard drives and are taking over the world, killing people, this, that, and the third. And her ship gets blown up. She gets dropped on this world where she confronts it, finds the AI machine that's helping her out, and goes forth to that to help her complete her mission by killing the dude that killed her mom and then saving the world. Pretty simple plot line. Find the dude, kill the dude. Not too much confusion going on. I guess the big plot really is her making friends with the robot and them kind of like forming a relationship per se. Interesting. It kind of reminded me of Sonic the Hedgehog and Shadow the Hedgehog, essentially, to where he dies in the video game slash comics ish, and then he has a clone. Now the clone isn't the old version; it can't remember all the memories, but definitely is the same thing, and that's what happened with the robot. The robot died, but there's a new robot at the end, and she can just change the name, and it's called Smith, and it remembers everything and whatnot. Which is it's just interesting because it downloaded her brain into like a hard drive and they connected and whatnot. So like the connected part sounded kind of like they're hooking up. Because she's like, I can't do it. I'm a virgin. Blah 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 blah. I'm like, huh. It was interesting. I took it like that. But the connect. I mean, the robot trying to become like human like. It was. I've seen this before. It's a little old school, I guess you could say, by the robot trying to have human emotions and human feelings and whatnot, and actually caring and whatnot. Why couldn't this robot be overtaken too? Why couldn't this? I mean, it wasn't even like a humanoid. It was a literal robot. So that was just an interesting choice to make like the love interest the robot. Um, I thought there should have been other maybe people that probably would have survived too. Like she's the only one that survived out of everybody on the ship. I mean, it's like I said, it's sci-fi, but come on now. And she's playing like a 20, 30-year-old in this. And I get it, it's JLo, so it's like you can put her in whatever and she looks good. I mean, she was showing off a little too in this movie, y'all. She was showing off a little bit, which I wasn't upset about. But I just wish they would just the realistic part of the sci-fi. I know I'm not, like I said before, I'll repeat it again, don't take it too literal, but other people survive, add a little layer to that. I mean, the only other one was the black dude that was getting his eyes gouged out and whatnot, and he sacrificed himself. I mean, and the other problem one other problem I did have is the movie. They made the black dude who was like the AI robot die like so many times. I was like, dang, the only person I see dying in this movie is a brother every single time. They had all the civilians die, but his was just again and again and again. I'm like, I'm tired of seeing it, y'all. I mean, the first person to die in this movie was a brother. So, I ain't gonna ever co-sign with that. But let's continue, y'all. Let's continue. So, what is Atlas about? Atlas Shepard is a brilliant. I didn't know Shepard was her last name. He's a brilliant misanthropic data analyst with a deep trust of artificial intelligence, joins a mission to capture a renegade robot with whom she shares a mysterious past. But when plans go awry, her only hope of saving the future of humanity from AI is to trust it. The heart of Atlas is really about the trust, how difficult it is to trust people. That's facts. It is very difficult. Sometimes you got to trust people when they've done you dirty, when they stabbed you in the back, when they've spit on your name and use their shoe to even go further on it and stomp on you. Now, we've all had people like that do that to us, and it's hard. It's hard to trust people. That's the hardest thing. That's the thing. The biggest thing. She had to trust the robot at the end of the day. So that comparison to human life, that was the theme of the story, is trust. I do like movies with the themes of that, and you really got to let go sometimes. But I mean, the lesson learned was like, get over it essentially, because she has reason to not trust it. But the thing is, she had reason not to trust those kind of that robot that killed her mom. Not all robots. And so I think the non-trust of an android that she or the mechanic robot that she was in was kind of like, it's just a robot here to help you. Like, her fighting against it was interesting. Now the connection part I get fighting against, but the whole like, I'm not gonna I want to do it myself thing was just like, it's just a robot. It's just like a robot girl. It just has no face. It has no like connection, and you use them all the time. So, I mean, she's playing chess with the dang robot at the beginning of the movie. And she trusts that robot. But yeah, anyways, Alice is told through the lens of a woman who's learning to trust people after undergoing a trauma that's upended her life. It's a reminder of how we have deep, meaningful relationships in our lives in one way, shape, or form. That you can't do everything by yourself. You have to choose to trust people at a certain point and let them in. Some people are gonna do you dirty enough. I wouldn't have blamed her if she wouldn't have trusted the robot at all and said F it, I'm just gonna die because I'm not about to do this. And sometimes I have some problems with that too. Some people they take your trust for granted. They take your love for granted in there. They're gonna you just it is hard to move past. It's really hard. Now at a point you get older and whatnot, you learn to put things that bygones be bygones, but you won't forget. I don't think it's that simple. Now the stakes were very high in this movie. I mean, people were dying and whatnot, and it was up to her to save the world. But I get the not trust thing from the robots and whatnot. But I wish there would have been a little more crux on like how that robot that killed her mom was different than the robot that was helping her, and they're not all the same. Instead of just saying, okay, I'm finally going to trust you because I have no choice. Like, I wish there was a little bit more of a story with that. They try to make it a comedy too with all the jokes and like a half comedy with all the jokes and whatnot. And the jokes really wasn't hitting that much to me, but I digress. For Lopez, the film story is as simple as they come. I love this as a big sci-fi action movie, but at its core, it's a story of friendship and a love story in a way. Yeah, that's what I said. I always see everything as a love story, but this is a different kind of love between two beings who connect in disastrous circumstances and teach each other how to be more human. How does she teach the robot how to be more human? I guess she tells it stuff, but she lets it in its brain. So it's like, I don't know about that part, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that part, but teach the robot to be more human. I don't know about that part, y'all. Look, we'll go through the movie real quick. Um, the movie basically started out with her, at home playing chess, and I don't know what year it is, and she got the Earth is in a state to where he's fighting these robots, and she goes up to the ship, and when she's up there to the ship, well, she's up there to the ship, and her mom dies, so we don't ever see like the beginning of like the backstory of her mom or anything like that, which is fine. I'm fine with that giving it to us later, but it was just a little. I was appreciating the AI, like the AI effects. Is it AI? No, no, no. It's the cinematic. Is it AI effects? I'm so lost right now. The special effects. Sorry, I said special effects. Special effects on the film and how it made everything kind of like real three-dimensional. They had to have taken some of that from other films. I'd say a little Star Wars esque, a little I'd say StarCraft-esque, if you know what I'm talking about, with the Terran. It's a race in the game that kind of reminded me of everybody out there, but they use high mech and probably AI to help fight them against the other races. And but she's her brother. Her brother is this robot that killed her mom and started the robot revolution. And once they kind of jack up the ship when they're in the air, she has to stay in this. I'll call it a Goliath per se, because it is kind of a Goliath. On the planet GR39, there she's stuck on there, and she's in the Goliath to keep her alive because she obviously can't breathe in that atmosphere. And it was the movie. The thing is, like, it was just revolving. I think every revolving around Lopez. I think every scene had her in it. Essentially, there was very few without it. If it wasn't her, then it was the brother that was like torturing the black dude, and that was our only break. So I just think there could have been a couple more layers added to this. It was just like, okay, the robot took over now. He wants to fix human race, and on his point of view, the humans, they were flawed, and he's gonna kill most of them and leave a few survivors and have them rebuild everything anew the right way. Humans are a disaster towards the world, I will say that. So I'm not all against on his ideals. The way he was doing it was crazy, but ideals weren't the craziest per se. He went at them a pretty extreme way, but I mean, sometimes you got to go to the extreme to get what you want done. So I see both sides of it. There wasn't really like a horrible side to it, except the killing people part. So I guess you can't go with the killing people, but the reasoning behind it, I understand per se. Um, but yeah. Um, so the pod, she's sitting in the pod most of the movie, and it takes some acting to, and I say acting, to be able to emote while not really moving, So I give her props on that. She did a good job with that, I believe. It's not as easy when you can't use your whole body to kind of get things out, especially when you're having to express such heavy emotions while basically sitting in a chair. So give her kudos for that. But we find the enemy, who is Harlan, played by Simu Liu, and he's a legend. He was in Barbie, Arthur the King, One True Loves, and Shang-Chi, the Legend of the Ten Rings. But yeah, he's a terrorist, the AI terrorist, and he created by Atlas's mother to save humanity, to serve humanity, and he betrayed the mother and fled Earth and spent the last 28 years on his time on the planet GR39. He had a hard drive mess up. I didn't hate the character. I liked how they made him move real robotic like. So that was really, really good. He was good. He was good. Simu Liu was good. I'm giving that. Simu Liu was good. As well as Sterling K. Brown playing Colonial Banks. He did a good job too. Like them movements, that's really them doing that stuff. There's a little modifications with that, but that's them doing that. And it was like that's really how I could see a robot moving and acting. It wasn't too robotic like, but it was just enough to you could tell that they was not human. So they did a really good job with those two, and I definitely was with those two, definitely taking care of the business. I mean, brother was in Black Panther, so he got them chops underneath him. But but yeah, I mean, look, those are the main characters and the main three characters of the movie. The movie goes on. She saves the day barely. She stops. She uses like manual to shoot down the spaceship that's gonna blow up the Earth essentially and kill everybody, most people. But I think that the whole like Tekken fight scenes with the robot has like the arms and whatnot and starts to slice and dice people was interesting. I didn't love the fight choreo in this show, just because it was like a person fighting a big old robot. It was it just seemed like 1 minute the robot was dominating and killing things and everything and whatnot and shouldn't have lost, and the next thing the dude was like, shouldn't have lost. So she saved herself essentially, and she did have a little bit of help from the guy that was my brother that was captured up. But yeah, no, the movie. I'll put it like this: the movie was good overall to me. I'd give it a 7 just because you take it as it is. Now, look, there's a few parts left to be desired. People are going to crucify JLo. People are going to go after her saying she wasn't good. This movie's a flop. This movie's this. A movie that didn't make sense, but it's a sci-fi movie. These movies aren't supposed to make sense. It's science fiction. It's not based on anything that's real. So you can't judge it as a love story or an action film or a crime film or something like that, to where these things could actually happen in real life, but none of this stuff could happen into 2024. So I take it as that, y'all. Check it out. It's an interesting watch. It's not a bad watch. It's not a bad watch at all, I'd say. There's a couple slow moments, I'd say, but for the most part, the ending kind of drags on a bit too. I'd say they could have sped the ending up a little bit, but I would just say add a couple more characters to add some depth to the story next time if they're gonna do the science fiction. That's just me. But yeah, y'all, that was my take on Atlas, starring Jennifer Lopez, Miss Jenny from the block. And yeah, y'all, tell me what you think about the movie. Tell me what you liked or you didn't like, and we'll get on to the next one, y'all. Peace and blessings, and have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you for coming through and checking out this review.